Good day, everyone. This is a forensic 2, the fingerprinting, or also known as a dactyloscopy. The aim of this entry is to describe and explain the main forensic uses of finger marks in the fingerprints. It defines the concept and provides the nomenclature related to forensic dactyloscopy. It describes the structures of papillary ridges, the organization of the main and formation of 3 levels, and its uses for the fingerprints classifications and individualization process. It focuses on the variability and the distinctness of the marks and the prints of the explosion of these properties in the forensic context. It emphasizes the difference between the properties of the marks and the prints in relation with individualization process. It described the current practice of for finger marks evidence evaluation and analyzes the limits of forensic evaluation based on deterministic conclusions. Good day, everyone. I am Alayso Arcala, a Bachelor of Criminology student, second year. Now let's talk about the dactyloscopy. The forensic dactyloscopy is an analysis and comparison of fingerprints as a means of identifications of individuals, also known as fingerprinting. They use person-unique finger or palm prints to identify them. In the mid-19th century, fingerprints were used to identify persons. For the first time, the Briton Sir William James Herschel introduced a system for comparing fingerprints in India to avoid a repeated payment of pensions, or later used a system to manage his present. Based on the obtained large data and set that fingerprints were unique and change only slightly with age. And at the same time, the British physician Henry Folds discovered the uniqueness of fingerprints in Japan and suggested to use them for identifying criminals. Afterwards, Jones was the first to teach fingerprinting in the Philippines constabulary in 1900s. Now, what is a fingerprint? Fingerprints are made of series of ridges and furrows on the surface of finger. The loops, whorl, and arches formed by those ridges and furrows generally follow several distinct patterns. Fingerprints also contain individual characteristics called minutiae, such a number of ridges of their groupings that are not perceptible to the naked eye. The fingerprints left by the people of the object that they have touched can be either visible or latent. Visible prints may be left behind the substance that are the fingers, such as dirty blood, or they are made there an impression made on the soft substance such as clay. Now let's proceed to the latent print. So what is the latent print? And now the problem here is who is the owner of this latent print? Now let's talk about first what is the latent print. The latent fingerprinting involves locating, preserving, and identifying impressions left by the culprit in the course of committing a crime. In latent fingerprints, the ridges structures is reproduced not in ink on a record card but on an object in sweat, oily, secretion, or other substances naturally present on the culprit's fingers. Most latent prints are colorless, and most thereof develop or are made visible before they can perceive and compared. This is done by brushing them with various gray or black powder containing chalk and lame black, combined with the other agents. The latent impression are presenting evidence either by photography or by lifting powder prints adhesive surface of the temps. Latent prints examiners compares a latent to exemplars using their expertise rather than a qualitative standard to determine if the information content is sufficient to decide. Latent print examination can be complex because latent are often small, unclear, distorted, smudged, or contain a few feathers, can overlap with their prints or complex a background and artifacts from the collection of the process. Now let's see or observe what you observe in this image. There are the latent print has a ridge hook, island, islet, lake or eye, recurving ridges, converging ridges, ridges bridge, bifurcating ridge, converging ridge, dot or series dots. While the standard prints has a ridge hook, island, islet, lake or eye, ridge bridge, ending ridge, dot or series dots, bifurcating ridge, converging ridge, and sufficient ridge. But what you have observed in this image, based here, as you can see that this fingerprint and standard prints are really different because based on the location, and not just the location but also the flows of the arcs, the whirls, and etc. Therefore, fingerprint minutiae are the minute characters of the fractured ridges skin that make the forensic use of fingerprint identification possible. Even two people have the same number of arches, loops, and whorls on their fingers will have different configuration of minutiae. As illustrated in the image below, fingerprints examiners can compare the types of location of the minutiae appearing to two fingerprints or a crime scene finger marks or a fingerprint taken from the suspect when attempting to determine if they come from the same person. So this fingerprint examination is unidentical. They are not the same location and the ridges inside the finger are different from each other. Therefore, I conclude that each one of us has our own and unique fingerprints as what my fingerprint is that no two fingers prints are alike. That's all and thank you for listening.